everyday English, we say, "We have a great lineup just for you." But in poetic prose, we might say, "A marvelous array awaits your view, a symphony of wonders just for you." Today, we celebrate not only World Poetry Day, but also shine a light on other significant observances, such as International Day of Forests and World Down Syndrome Day. If you haven't yet, this is the perfect opportunity to explore the importance of observances. Hint, it has a lot to do with promoting awareness and instilling values. Welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. We begin in the newsroom before making other important stops. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, March 21, 2025. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has announced a raft of measures to make home ownership more accessible for Jamaicans through the National Housing Trust, NHT. Effective July 1, the loan limit for individual mortgages will increase to $9 million, while 2 co-applicants can access $17 million and 3 co-applicants $23 million. In addition, the NHT will lend up to $12 million to an individual mortgager who's buying a unit valued at $14 million or less, subject to affordability.
In fact, Madam Speaker, we have given a policy directive to the NHT that all their resources should now be directed at producing houses that are around this price point. The NHT will not get involved in any new development of houses above this price point.
Contributors building their houses can also borrow more, up to $11 million for individuals, $17 million for 2 co-applicants, and $23 million for 3 co-applicants. Also effective July 1, the NHT will reduce the waiting time to access home improvement loans from 10 to 7 years. The loan limit for this benefit has increased to $5 million, up from $3.5 million. The deposit amount for open market loans will be reduced from 5 to 2%. This is for housing solutions valued at $14 million or less and will benefit contributors earning less than $30,000 weekly. NHT's service charges for contributors buying on the open market have also been revised. Prospective mortgages earning $30,000 or less weekly will not pay anything, and mortgages earning between $30,000 and $42,000 weekly will pay 2%.
Prospective mortgages earning $42,100 per week or $42,001 per week and above, their service charge remain at 5%.
In relation to contribution refund, Dr. Holness says private sector mortgages will now have the option for either cash refund or for the money to go towards their existing mortgage obligations, provided that the loan is not in arrears. This will be assessed on a year-by-year basis based on the NHT's cash flow position. Also coming out of the Prime Minister's 2025-2026 budget speech, good news for minimum wage earners. The national minimum wage is moving to $16,000 per 40-hour work week, effective June 1.
This latest increase to $16,000 represents an unprecedented 158% increase over 9 years. Cumulative inflation over that period remains well below this rate, and even in the United States dollars. This adjustment represents significant real growth in earnings for minimum wage workers.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has also unveiled several initiatives focusing on human capital development. Among them is an expanded apprenticeship program to benefit 300 young people over the next 2 years. They will be trained alongside industry professionals in critical areas such as construction and hospitality.
Each participant will earn a weekly stipend of $13,500 to $16,500 with a 10% set aside as compulsory savings. This approach allows our youth to build a career, support their families, and contribute to the economy, all at the same time. Madam Speaker, we will begin this pilot in conjunction with the Sandals Corporate University.
In addition, the Institute of Higher Apprenticeships will be established later this year in partnership with industry stakeholders and the Inter-American Development Bank. It's to provide advanced vocational certification for participants while they work in the field.
A young person will be able to pursue, let's say, a degree in logistics or a diploma in manufacturing through an apprenticeship track, gaining academic credentials and practical experience at the same time. Upon graduating, they will be ready to take on higher paying jobs and be certified.
Also, training will begin at the secondary school level to facilitate jobs that require skills in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, STEAM. $400 million is being invested to establish Heart NSTA Trust's state-of-the-art STEAM labs in technical high schools across the island. And to further build capacity, Prime Minister Holness announced the Building Opportunities for Outstanding STEM Talent Boost program to take effect April 2025. It will provide grants of up to $300,000 for Heart graduates of Level 4 STEM-related courses. The funds must be used to purchase specialized tools and software or start a business. A dedicated school bus system for rural Jamaica will be rolled out in September this year to improve safety, reliability, and affordability for students. Phase 1 is already underway, with the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC expanding services in Clarendon, Morant Bay, and Linstead.
We will add 12 additional 45-seater buses to the already existing fleet of 10 buses, giving the Montego Bay area a total of 22 buses. Phase 2 will see 100 fully refurbished buses deployed across parishes, with 60 buses in September 2025 for the start of the new school year, and another 40 buses by January 2026.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the new bus system marks a transformative step in making transportation safer, more reliable, and affordable for Jamaican students.
The doors will be on the appropriate side for safety, and I think most importantly, the speed on these buses will be governed. So they won't be able to drive above a certain set speed to ensure safety of the children. On some of the buses, where there is connectivity, we will place cameras, and the collection of fares will be digital.
Meanwhile, the government is establishing a second compressed natural gas CNG fueling facility to service the 70 new CNG buses being added to the fleet of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC. During a recent press briefing, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz said the 70 buses, which include 30 coach buses for the charter service, are expected to arrive on the island in June or July.
This will require us to put a new plant, CNG plant, in Spanish Town, at the Spanish Town level, and that is far advanced, and we are hoping that we'll have that up and running between August and September in time for the new school year.
The addition of this second facility comes after a recent expansion of CNG fueling pumps at the Portmore depot, increasing from 1 to 3 and boosting the JOTC's refueling capacity by 300%. The Portmore facility serves approximately 125 buses procured over the last 18 months. And finally, the National Water Commission's 3-month amnesty program has been extended for another 2 months. The amnesty, which was scheduled to conclude at the end of March, will now continue to May. In making the announcement yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness also revealed that up to March 14, more than 21,000 customers have engaged in the process of reconnection. Over 3,000 households have been reconnected, with another 5,135 awaiting reconnection. During this process, the water agency accumulated over $207 million in revenue, money which would have been uncollectible otherwise. Dr. Holness says the government has also written off over $600 million in debt of needy Jamaicans, restoring water supply and returning dignity to their households. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Having water problems? Can't pay your bill? Well, 2025 is your year. The National Water Commission NWC 3-month amnesty is still running. If you've been disconnected for 2 years or more unpaid water bills, or you're a pensioner, eligible path beneficiary with outstanding debts to the NWC, the government is giving a financial reprieve. The NWC will write off the debt totally and waive your reconnection fees. Water is a priority, and the government is offering relief to get you legally reconnected. To check your eligibility, visit the NWC website at www.nwcjamaica.com/bill_query.
Thank you for staying with us. Do you believe in second chances? Well, our Department of Correctional Services certainly does, offering individuals the opportunity to redeem themselves through a program designed to help inmates and wards reintegrate into society. While there may be stigmas associated with this process, our upcoming feature will provide a detailed look at the steps involved.
The Department of Correctional Services DCS was formed in 1975 and plays a pivotal role in monitoring persons on parole and those serving custodial and non-custodial sentences. Their mission is to see to the security, rehabilitation, and reintegration of offenders as productive and law-abiding citizens.
The institution tries to mirror society in general as best as possible so that on the release of an inmate, the reintegration will be as seamless as is possible. Our first interaction with inmates are when the courts send them to us. In general, the courts send 3 different categories of inmates: convicted, awaiting trial, and those that have been convicted and have appealed their sentences. In regards to the convicted persons, we hold inmates start ranging from 30 days to multiple life sentences. When they are admitted, first thing we categorize them in those 3 categories. Then we go to security, whether they are of a high security, which if they escape would pose a danger to the society and to the public in general. Then we have just regular inmates who cannot be held in low security but has to stay in one of the maximums. We also have inmates who can be classified and sent to the medium securities, which are the farm institutions, Tamarind Farm and Richmond Farm. They concentrate on farming, but they still do other rehab activities.
Meanwhile, female inmates are held at the South Camp Adult Correctional Facility, where they serve the same range of sentences in the 3 categories. Females who will soon give birth are also held at that facility and have a nursery available to them.
After 6 months, a report is done and a family member or a friend who could be a guardian of that child, and if the report come back as those people being suitable guardians, the child is handed over to them. If there is no suitable guardian, the child will be placed in a children's home, and at the release of the mother, they can be reunited. If the mother is to be released in a short period, say up to when the child is 1 year old, the child will be allowed to stay with the mother.
Rehabilitation in our care is under the arms of many branches, which would comprise the probation arm, the chaplaincy, the rehab industry, and the rehab branch. Within the rehabilitation branch, we have teachers at all levels. It's mandatory for the children to go to school and to be in vocational areas, as well as to be exposed to sports and chaplaincy. We also engage them in sessions with our case managers.
In addition, there are trained custodial officers who help with not only security, but also operate as social workers.
This is the initial part in terms of doing rehabilitation, where we have to assess where our inmates are, not just on the custodial side to see how severe of a crime or if they are high risk, but we also look at where they are in their biopsychosocial, so we can know whether or not they are high, low, or medium risk.
The Department of Correctional Services also provides a myriad of academic opportunities for inmates at the CSEC and CAPE levels.
So we offer more than 13 areas when it comes on to CSEC, and when it comes on to the CAPE exam, we offer 2. Some of the offerings that we have at the CSEC level, we have principles of accounts, we have principles of business, maths, English, social studies, history, to name a few. At the CAPE, we only offer now mathematics and economics.
The department also offers vocational courses that extend beyond the theoretical aspects.
We have vocational areas such as barbering, and this is at both the adult and the juvenile level. We also have welding. We have projects where we do masonry, plumbing, painting, and of course, most of our maintenance are done not just by officers within the institution, but inmates as well.
An infirmary is also available to inmates who have difficulty taking care of themselves. Professionals who work in the regular infirmary assist them in their day-to-day activities.
We also have family days where inmates are allowed to interact with their children twice annually, where fathers and mothers, in the case of South Camp, are allowed to sit with their children, interact closely for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, because these events are a big deal for the children to see their parents. We also have a system where inmates are granted parole. There are a number of reports that goes into the parole. We have the report from the institution, which is done by the superintendent. There is the police report, and there is the community report. All of those are viewed by the parole board, and then a decision is made whether or not that person will be granted parole.
Oftentimes, person would hear the sad story, but it's time for us to look at the success, look at the positive, to see that our inmates and our wards in our care, they are doing exceptionally well. They want to make a change, and we're asking that society will also buy into that to allow them to have a smooth reintegration. Oftentimes, there is a stigma attached, but we ask that persons will give them that sense of hope to say, anybody can change. The fact that they are making strides within, we hope that society can forgive and to have an open arm so they can execute that which we have taught them, that which they have engaged themselves in. We hope that society can help as well, that we can meet that vision for 2030.
Lost receipts can mean big trouble during tax season. The Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ urges businesses to keep these records safe.
Most Jamaicans, from time to time, throw away the receipt. You know, you're doing a business and you bought some stock. But because the quality of each of those receipts fade quickly, they just throw them away. The tax department is advising that you are to keep proper books and records for tax purposes. So if it is going to fade, what do you do first? You would ensure that you either scan it, copy it, and save it in a format that it can be used for future use later on. At least 7 years, the Income Tax Act would put it.
At the start of our show, I mentioned that we would highlight the importance of instilling values. What better way to demonstrate this than through our next feature, which encourages the adoption process. Adoption provides children with a loving, stable home while instilling the values that shape their future. Take a look.
Thank you for your interest in adoption in Jamaica. Please download the adoption guidelines below, which are intended to assist you with the completion of your application form. You are required to complete and enclose the following documents: application forms, child's medical forms, adult's medical forms, any other information relevant to your case, such as affidavits, birth certificates, death certificates, and court orders. That's the beginning of your adoption process. You're now on your way to becoming a child's legal guardian.
Adoption is a very special process. It's a very significant step that persons take in their lives, and it is very rewarding. And I would implore persons who are interested in adopting to go for it. And as I said before, go for it with an open mind. People misconceive adoption because the stigma that is attached to it, in that persons, I don't know if maybe it is a cultural thing, but persons don't willingly talk about adoption. It's mostly a secret, and you find that people go away with the wrong ideas, in that persons believe that maybe the process is too long, maybe they believe that we should not have such a rigorous process, but you have to understand it's a life commitment, and you want to ensure that a child being adopted is being placed in the best possible placement. Close adoptions are adoptions that are basically done in Jamaica now, in that no information is given to either the adopters about the biological parents, and the biological parents don't know about the adoptive parents. The process for adopting overseas is basically very similar to the process for Jamaica, whereby you are needed to fill out the form, get the necessary supporting documents, birth certs, marriage certs. However, overseas applicants need to ensure that they have home studies, because that is the way you're going to find out about the overseas person's background. So they would have to get the services of a home service provider, especially for those in the US, and that home service provider will give them a comprehensive information about their, including police checks and everything. So they need that. And then after that process, they will submit it to us, and it will go through the regular, rigorous process of identifying the birth parents, doing the necessary interview, visiting the child, getting the child's opinion, and then all of that is summarized and placed in a report along with the case file to the adoption board for approval. Persons who are allowed to adopt children in Jamaica are single male, female, couples, persons over 25 years. If you are a relative, you have to be 18 years and over. The adoption board is a body established in the Act that has to give approval for all adoption applications before they can go to the court for finalization. The Adoption Board is the only agency that is authorized to approve adoption cases. So there's no other agency that has that authority.
Let adoption work for you. Visit the Child Protection and Family Services Agency website at childprotection.gov.jm or visit the agency at 48 Duke Street or any of the parish's offices island-wide to learn how you can start the process.
So Bonnie, you renew your road license yet?
Babes, the road have me away. I can't even find time, but you know money have to make.
Because see, I shall out them money the back for late fee and record fee when you sit down make your road license expire upon you.
Well, transport authority so we can apply online. That me I got to know.
Operators of public passenger vehicles and commercial carriers, renew your road license before April 1 and avoid late penalty. A message from the Transport Authority.
The Jamaica Dairy Development Board and its parent Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining have been working tirelessly to strengthen the sector through support on various fronts. One key aspect of this effort is their partnership with a special focus on the private sector.
Today we are on a tour of the True Juice dairy farm and milking facility. We're just exploring the new technologies that they are embarking on the sector. We're looking at the new breed of animals that they are developing, which is a Girlander, which comes out of Costa Rica. And we're basically trying to see where we can help them to improve on their production of milk.
The goal is to foster growth, improve production practices, and help farms achieve their targets while promoting sustainable development within the sector.
We are in a race against time, to reverse the effects of climate change by one simple action, which has positive and enduring effects. That's right, plant a tree, leave a lasting legacy. Join the My Tree Legacy promotion by planting a tree at your alma mater and share your work with us. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.